What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Anime Lane, the podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. As always, I'm your host, Notorious, and joining me once again today, Shaun.
Hello.
And Melina.
Yee. Yee.
Sure. It's Tanuki time in Pom Poko, written and directed by Isao Takahata, music by Shang Typhoon, animation production by Studio Ghibli. It released in Japanese theatres July 16th, 1994, licensed in the UK by Studio Canal, and in the US by G Kids. It is available on home video and streaming worldwide on Netflix. Then we're bringing an end to the alphabet, and X, directed by Rintaro, who also co-wrote the movie alongside Nanase Okawa, based on the manga written by Clamp, an all-female manga artist group, of which Okawa is the leader. Music by Yasuaki Shimizu, animation production by Madhouse. It released in Japanese theatres August 3rd, 1996. It released in the US. It was licensed in the US and UK by Manga Entertainment. I don't think it's licensed by anyone anymore, but the movie's just kind of been left to languish in time.
For once, we were stuck on DVD to watch this, and it was strange.
Yeah, first time we've ever watched something not in HD.
Yeah,
I think
good old standard there.
Yeah. There was a TV version that I had looked at. You'll remember this. That was broadcast in HD on TV, and I kind of looked at that as a base for us to watch, but it's not a very good version.
Like the color grading is a bit different.
Yeah, and it seemed like a fresh scan of the original film until I kept looking at it more, and I was like, I think it's just upscaled from the DVD master. But it was hard to tell because also the actual presentation was really bad because it was constrained to how much TV can offer, which is not a lot. So it didn't have a lot of bit rate, which meant action scenes just fell apart visually. They got really blocky and looked worse than the DVD at times. So yeah, we ended up just watching it on DVD. But I assume we're going to talk about Pom Poko first.
Yeah.
This is episode 69 of Anime Lane, guys.
Raccoon testicles.
Yeah, I think I watched it first
you
out
did,
of all
yes.
of you guys, and I just sent a message the morning after. I was like, just so you guys know, it feels like a testicle-centered fever dream.
Yeah. I'm surprised at how early you watched this, by the way. It makes sense for your schedule, but for context, if I'm allowed to give context,
Not allowed.
No.
Not allowed to
I was
give
how much
context.
am I revealing the behind the scenes stuff here? And I don't know why that's a concern, but anyway.
I'm always the one usually talking about
I know.
that.
We record these usually on a Wednesday. You watched this on what, Friday night?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because we got the message on Saturday, I think.
Yeah. For context, me and Michael usually watch these 1 or 2 days beforehand. So the Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was busy. What can I say? And Manuel,
Sure.
I wanted to see it as well.
Yeah.
So I was
Did
like,
you
okay.
regret that choice?
Yes and no. Because I think we had a cider each with this.
I wish I had done that.
Honestly, that would have been fair.
It's not like you're fully drunk, but you're tipsy enough to go, balls.
Yeah.
That explains how we were talking on the way here that you I quickly realized you like this more than I did.
Yeah.
This makes sense now. I get it.
I think from general discussion that we've had, I think you liked it the least of all three of us.
I didn't get it. I mean,
Balls.
I don't want to say I didn't get it, but it didn't click.
I was willing to go along with most of its shenanigans. I do think it's not as good in its second half.
Oh no. There's bits in the second half that are really good. But
but I was fully checked out for most of the second hour of this 2-hour movie.
It didn't need to be 2 hours. It didn't need to be 2 hours. I was kind of hoping it was near the end on the first hour.
Yeah.
And then I opened it and I was like, oh,
well,
God,
it does
I'm
sort of
halfway
feel
through.
like you're getting towards the end during that first hour, and then it's oh no, they're gonna just keep going, and there's plot elements set up that just don't come back up again until 15 minutes from the end, and by that point they're completely
incomprehensible
and pointless. It's the whole transformation master thing. It doesn't really have any point of coming back up other than it'd be hey, we made a festival.
That goes on for way too fucking long.
It does go on for
Yeah.
so long, and then you've got the other one who set off on that adventure coming home and being what happened to the forest? It's well, that's why you went to find the master in the first place.
Do you remember what it was 3 years ago? It's that, but worse.
It was a lot. Like the whole parade festival thing, the first few minutes are like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
like,
and then
fun.
it goes on for like 15 minutes.
When it gets to the part with the two guys at like the stand or like the bar
oh yeah,
or
that's
whatever,
like absolutely its point to like end.
They focus on those guys for a full like minute or two, and I'm like, guys, shut the fuck up and cut, please.
I mean, I like the idea of you have a lot going on and then you minimize, kind of like,
Yeah.
I think this is all bullshit, you know, and these
Not
kids
for a
just
full
saying
2 minutes
things.
though.
It was too long.
I think that they sort of done the two versions that you could have done of this like in the movie itself, where you should have done like a small portion of the festival and then done the interviews on the news afterwards to show like, oh, it was quite big, elaborate, you know, people don't really believe that it was, or people believe that it was the company or whatever. You can't do the full thing and those news interviews.
Yeah.
You have to do like one or the other. And
Because it just feels repetitive at that point.
And it's already gone on so long.
Oh, yeah.
It's lost all its impact.
Absolutely. Shame.
But they are just balls out the whole
Like,
time.
It
Tanuki's
starts.
out.
Yep.
Yeah, like as you're watching it starts, you're like, wow, they're drawing these very prominently. That's just how. That's how I started.
It
I was like,
it took me until they're like learning how to control the transformation powers.
carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Guess
the
the
teacher's
carpet
like,
you're sitting on.
Yeah,
Do
he's
you
like-
notice it's soft?
he's like, can
Guess
all the
what?
Stretchy.
no, because the lead up's insane, because he's like, can all the guys like stay behind? And then he's like, you're all sitting on my ball sack, by the way. He's like, it can stretch up to 150 feet, and I'm like, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Also, you watched it dubbed.
I watched it dubbed, yeah.
They call it a pouch.
Yes, his Tanuki pouch, which I was like, they're fully talking about his balls.
Yeah, because like the subtitles just say testicles.
Yeah, yeah,
I
they
was
go full
gonna
on.
ask, because like sometimes Netflix, it's like you're kind of limited in that. Sometimes they'll just have like subtitles that'll match like the English audio instead of like a Japanese, you know, translation. So I was wondering if they like use the same terminology, because in the dub they're just called raccoons, and I'm like,
No.
but they're not. They're Tanuki. There's a big difference.
They do the same in the subtitles.
Yeah,
just
they
say
still call them
raccoons.
raccoons.
But we all know.
I get it as like a localization choice, but at the same time, like,
They're Tanuki.
they're Tanuki. Yeah, they're like an actual folklore thing.
Yeah.
But they also call the fox the white fox, and it's like, no, that's a kitsune.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
again a whole other folklore
The
thing.
whole thing.
But yeah, no, his pouch.
Yeah, his big Tanuki balls.
And yeah, from that point on in the movie, I couldn't not look, because they're so prominent.
Yeah.
It's just
They find you.
Yes.
Yeah. Even if you have any wide shot, you're like, oh, you really drew them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are.
Yep, there they are.
And it's like, oh wow, he's walking to accommodate them.
Oh yeah, he's walking wide.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
Especially the red like clan leader guy. Like he's just bigger in general than everyone else.
Yeah.
So it makes his even more like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They're just flowing free.
Yep.
But it does beg the question: why do we get to see balls but not female nips?
Yeah.
Yeah. We
They're
can't.
like,
we
must
can't
cover.
show. We can't show the raccoon tits. We
No,
cannot.
no.
It's too far.
2 dots, too much.
The balls
Too
are
much.
fine, but
This
yeah.
is a really weird thing about like anime back then, where like if you watch the original Dragon Ball where like Goku's a kid, there's a scene in the first episode where he's peeing in a river, and you just fully see
Weakness.
cock and balls
And
on
balls.
Goku. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And I'm like,
He's a child.
He's a child. And like I get it's not sexualized in any
Yeah.
way, and that's I
he's
guess
pissing.
the main difference. But at the same time, I'm like,
You drew that.
did we need to see that?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a back shot with it.
It's choice. This whole thing is a choice.
Yeah.
Just seeing the stream would be enough. We all know.
This is a great way for the conversation to go.
Welcome to episode.
Not even
16.
15 minutes in.
Can we not talk about child Goku, please?
Yeah, anyway, yeah, I don't know
Tanuki
why
balls.
Japan was just fine with nuts out the whole time.
Nuts out.
Nuts
It's like,
out, yeah.
woman must wear a little vest.
Yeah.
Yeah. No raccoon tits.
No.
Absolutely not. You perv. How dare you?
I'm genuinely surprised there was no female character that was like overtly sexualized in like any way.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Considering everything else about the movie.
Yeah.
There is the part near the end of the movie where the foxes turn up and he's like, I run this brothel, and it's like, oh, that's kind of
fucked.
Yeah, because
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Because, you know, after the parade, you have the, let's just say Disneyland owner is like, I did that. And the raccoon's like, that's so full of shit. And then this weird ass looking guy shows up, and I think we would all have the first fucking raccoon.
Yeah. Like my immediate thought was, oh, they're already infiltrating the guy. That was fast. But
nice.
no, it's a fox.
I was like, oh, he's real weird looking. He must be a raccoon. And then it's like, oh no, he's a fox. Right. This is.
I forgot the foxes were here.
Yeah.
But there's no pre-established like the foxes can transform.
Yeah.
No, they mention it.
They mentioned the foxes earlier, but
when they scare some like holy figures away from a temple,
but like we're just kind of left to assume that like they also see the foxes as like folklore figures too. There's no establishment that like these are real like people character
because
humanoid beings,
sentient
creatures.
You know, we have our main raccoon boy who goes to the brothel.
He just strolls on up.
Yeah.
One of the clan leaders.
I think so.
Yeah.
Nate, don't bore.
Yeah, I mean,
one of the boys.
One of them's Clancy Brown. That's the red one, and then J.K. Simmons is the blue one in the dub.
Neat.
Yeah, so that's only how I registered those characters as Clancy Brown and J.K. Simmons.
I had nothing.
Like it was in the fox brothel where they first like kind of talk, and the fox is like, yeah, you know, you can just live amongst humans, and the raccoon kid's like, well, not everyone can transform. It's like, survival of the fittest, man.
Fuck them.
Sucks to be them. I don't know what you want me to say, man, dude. It's like, why don't you just work for the man?
Have you considered dying?
Yeah, come on. Because I think the movie's meant to be a semi like environmentalist, but it has a little too much murder.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning, because their first reaction was like, "They're tearing down our home. We will get them."
Yeah, like
it's a very different take on environmentalism compared to like Totoro, for sure.
I gotta say that like the hard cut when like they're first like. It seems like they're going to like just scare off the construction workers, and then like they pull one off the road and fully crashes. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then it cuts to the TV like interview right after. And it's like, and 3 workers fucking died.
Yeah.
Like right after, and I was like, oh, they actually killed them.
Yeah.
This is murder.
This is when Manuel walked out for a minute. He was like, what I missed? They killed 3 men. Like, what? Yep.
And then like right after, you're like, well, maybe they're.
Maybe it was an accident.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to like see somehow as like a lighthearted. It's like they're not gonna go in that direction. And then full on genocide beaver comes in. I don't know why I called him a beaver. Maybe I was thinking of the other thing.
Moving on.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a little too into the genocide idea.
Yeah.
And then he breaks all his bones.
Yeah.
Because he break it because he celebrated so hard? That's what
he sort of got trampled on, didn't he?
Yeah. They were all celebrating, and then there was something on the news, and I think he got dumped and trampled on.
Yeah. Kind of lame way to go out.
Yeah. It's a weird way of like bringing him out of the story and softening the genocide thing.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been more impactful if he got hurt in the murder.
Yeah.
You know, I do like after that we get, you know, a few sequences of the raccoons just scaring the shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted. I didn't want murder.
Yeah.
I wanted
the murder
all these
that sort of cast the shadow over the whole thing.
Yeah. Because, you know, they do these great things where they're like, I'm a little ghost. My face doesn't exist. And all these works are like, I'm not fucking dealing with this. This is some ghost shit. I'm not staying. I'm sorry. Like, that's the best way to go about it. But no. This one guy's just like, murder. And a few lads are like, let him speak. He's got a point. He's got a point.
It's it's just such a strange movie.
Yeah.
Because it wants to be a kid's movie, like very clearly wants to be a kid's movie, yet they're outright killing people.
And there's calls for genocide.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, the message sort of becomes care about the environment, but not too much.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
we're not that bad.
Humans are more important.
Yeah, we were not that bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we are, but like...
We didn't mean bad.
It's almost like a really, really toned down version of Watership Down.
That's what I like got from the start, but Watership Down I feel like had a more concrete message, at least, or at least it committed more.
And I think that's why it's like really toned down. One, it wants to be a kids movie. I mean, a lot of people confuse Watership Down as a kids movie, traumatizing millions every year, I assume. And this just wants to be like a happy-go-lucky kids movie, but with
murder,
inferences of murder and raccoon balls,
domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
The ball bombings.
We're not going to talk about the ball shoots.
They haunt my nightmares.
It's like I did think about it. I was like, would I show this to a kid? Probably not.
Maybe an older kid.
Maybe. I think if you're slapping it on for a kid, like there's a lot they're not gonna like pick up on.
Yeah.
I think it's the same kind of like. I always hate drawing the comparison on Ghibli and Disney, but it's almost like some Disney movies where it's like you'll show it to a kid, but like if you're watching it as an adult, you go, oh, okay, this is a bit more darker than I thought when I was younger, because there's a lot just going over my head.
Yeah.
But even if you're watching it as an adult, you're like, huh?
I had not like the half part, but like the sort of heavier stuff that went over my head as a kid. I had that pretty recently with, funnily enough, Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no,
like,
that hit me as a kid.
No, because like when you're a kid, like, or at least when I was a kid, you're obviously more focused on like the Stitch and like Lilo like storyline and stuff. But then watching it as an adult, it's like, oh, Nani's going through shit.
Yeah.
And she's only like 19. Holy fuck. So I had that recently, but like Pom Poko is sort of weird in that like it doesn't feel like the sort of heavier stuff sort of synergizes with like the other stuff really well.
Yeah, it's.
I think only in the ending do they really like visually hint at it, when they have like the vision-ish of like, this is what the world could have been.
Yeah.
And then they kind of get pulled out of that. It's like, no.
Yeah, I like that, and then contrasted by them like adjusting into like human life, and then like seeing the raccoons that can't transform being like left to be raccoons. And it's like, okay, if you had an actual whole movie about that contrast, that would have been really good, not whatever the hell you just spent 2 hours of my life doing.
Exactly, because I think that guilt of like, I have these opportunities which you simply cannot have.
Yeah.
I think that dynamic would have been so much more interesting to explore. But to me, it still ended. That to me was still kind of a high note, because that did come across like he was like feeding the raccoons, even though it feels a bit, the power dynamic there. It was weird, but it still was endearing, and also, I don't know. Maybe I was just attaching too much emotion.
No,
I mean, it's the emotion. I'd say it's the most emotionally like high part of the movie, the ending.
I do think the actual ending goes a way of undermining a little bit of its own, like it was coalescing into something really nice.
Yeah.
And then he stares down the barrel of the cameras, and he's trying to like deliver the message so on the nose, but then goes, oh, but what about the other animals? Don't think about that too much. And then just fucks off, and it's the credits roll, and it's like, hold on, no, get back here.
Which I don't know how different it is in the dub, but from what you said, it was sort of similar. Where but in the sub, he straight up says, "So what about like the other animals you see?" And then he just fucks off.
Yeah, no,
that's the end of the movie.
And I don't know if that's supposed to be like a funny joke, which I think it had the potential to be funny if they just leaned into it a bit more strongly. Like, well, this is not their story.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they just said something along the lines of that, I'd be like, huh, that's funny.
See, that would have worked if this wasn't a movie that actually took its murder semi-seriously.
Yeah.
Well, the weird thing with the dub is that it's not a generic statement at the end. it very heavily specifies rabbits.
Yeah.
And then just cuts, and it's like, that's a weird example, but okay. Especially because rabbits are like really adaptable
Yeah.
to changes in the environment, because they just burrow underground.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
they
food's
get hit by
very easy.
cars and shit, but you know, they're
So
fine.
do raccoons.
Yeah.
Less so, I think.
I mean, we end this movie not less so because we see a
Yeah.
lot of
Rabbits generally die of fright, you know, so this is the genetically inferior species, so to speak,
Yeah.
thriving a little bit more than raccoons. Raccoons are just little trash pandas, so I guess, you know,
I mean, they're eating McDonald's. They have the good life.
they do.
them. Yeah.
Which I didn't...
Full on, like,
Yeah.
in wrapper burgers at
Yeah.
the start of the movie.
Yeah.
I had like a sort of list of like basically product placements after a while. So we've got
all
this-
generic in the movie. I want to
Yeah.
point
Oh
out.
no, that was X. That was X actually. I was thinking more just like there's just a random Coke sign.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There is.
There's Coke sign and there's like a McDonald's sign. I was like, that's random product placement.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if Hitachi comes up at some point. If I'm thinking of like the other movie we watched.
Maybe.
Could be. I'm not
Could
sure.
be.
Either way, there was
Yeah.
product placement and it just came
Yeah.
the fuck out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Yeah. But my overall thought is gaslight, gatekeep, garbage.
Fair, very fair.
Come on, they use all of those.
They do. They do.
They do.
Live,
They're
laugh-
gaslighting the shit out
Yeah.
of each
Gaslight, gatekeep, Tanuki. Boy.
Live, laugh, kill.
other. Live life genocide.
Live, laugh, balls.
Like, there's just so much weird shit that you could comment on that happens. It's like, okay, so they can transform. Because, you know, they're introduced as like, they're eating McDonald's, they're little garbage things.
Yeah.
They're like, yay! And then it's like, now we shall transform.
Yes.
Excuse me, what?
which is accurate to like Tanuki like folklore.
Yeah.
Generally a thing that most things in Japanese folklore can do now that I think about it. But yeah, like
That's the theme. Don't think about it.
yeah. So I get it, but again, it's like weirdly presented, I think.
Yeah. And the like raccoon human dynamic could be played with so much more.
Yeah.
And like we only get a bit of it at the end when you have the interviewer, which by the way, if you're an interviewer, it's like, I need you to go to the forest and try to get these raccoons on,
Yeah, like
on
to talk to
interview.
you.
Because he just stood there, raccoons, a word.
Mr. Raccoon,
Please.
please. My career is riding on this.
And he just kind of comes out like a fucking biblical figure. He's like, fear not, for I am here.
No, doesn't he? Isn't he like it's a Tanuki Buddha or something like that?
Yeah.
It's, and then you, what is it? They're not responding, and then he says something in song,
Yeah, and
and
they
they
respond
respond back. Very strange.
because they can't
Yeah.
help themselves.
Yeah.
Because they played with that in like a bit earlier, I believe. The whole they're such like group creatures
Yeah.
that they have these rituals and stuff.
They specifically mention like at one point early in the film that like, oh, we're naturally good natured, so if someone sings, we're going to like sing back and all jolly. And it's like that comes like right before they start murdering people.
Uh-huh.
So first
Yeah.
off, bullshit. Secondly, you can just not.
It
Happy
also
people
never
can
comes.
murder.
It also never comes up again until that point in the movie. There's
No.
so many little
Yeah.
like things that would have been interesting to like play with in terms of like interacting with humans and how they can like either endear themselves to them or like freak them out or whatever. And instead they're just like, nah, let's kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
at some
push
point
their-
they try to kind of they go out into Tokyo as like a group.
But oh yeah, the yeah, which has like a really weird hand wavy thing about like Japan's like development of like fast acting energy drinks, and they're like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
for the raccoons, and I'm like,
Of course.
let's not dig into how that's an effect of their work culture, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sort of sweeping that under the rug.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
we? Ghibli.
Ghibli. Meanwhile, animators are chugging their energy
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
This is so
Whoever
fun,
animated
fun.
that scene's just like fucking 500 of them on his desk.
Miyazaki comes in like, see, you're all like the raccoons in the movie, and they're like, yeah, I'm sure we fucking are.
I don't think he had any involvement in this one.
Honestly, good.
Yeah.
It was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're just chugging them.
Yeah.
Chugging these energy drinks. Love it. Relatable.
I felt called out, especially when they're chugging the energy drinks and they have like the bags under the eyes. I was like, oh man, this is just me. For real. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. One other thing I wanted to like just sort of bring up. I like that they bring in the elders from like the other island or whatever, and they're like, okay, maybe now we're gonna get like a reasonable like solution to this problem that doesn't involve genocide, and then they all just come out and say, our solution is subjugate them through fear. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, guys.
Yeah, like one of them legit is like, it would never happen in my forest because, you know, these men, they're terrified of us.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't doubt my
We crushed
powers.
their tiny, puny minds a long time ago. And I'm like, I don't know if this message of the movie is think of the raccoons or the raccoons have it fucking coming.
Yeah, because at some point, me and my mom agree, it's like, there's no way this could end good.
No.
For
No.
both.
Yeah.
One's gonna win, and we all know it's gonna
Yeah,
be
and
you.
the thing is, this is Tokyo in like the 60s? At least
Yeah,
at the
it's
start.
sort of set in the 60s, and then I think
It
it's
feels
like
like
a
it's sort of-
4 or 5 year period.
Yeah, but like we know how far Tokyo expands.
Yes.
And it's far beyond this place.
Yeah, and it only expanded even faster around the end of the 60s into the 70s. So it's
Yeah,
like,
so-
they had no hope in hell.
They're fucked.
Yeah.
Also, this one raccoon that's complaining is like, they're taking away your hills. Well, they're dumping all the dirt in mine. Like, I feel like they have it a bit worse. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Which is funny because I'm pretty sure in redevelopment like that, they just used that dirt to like reclaim land.
Yeah.
Because Tokyo was like 25 to 30% reclaimed land along like the coastline.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. It's like a lot of it's just like man-made essentially. Because well, Japan's not really that big.
No.
But yeah, that was a weird thing that just kind of is like, again, never brought up again.
No.
A lot of things happen and just never.
It was too interesting a plotline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that raccoon, I think that's the one that jumped in a truck.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's
like-
the one where they're like, "Are you the transformation master?" And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
No.
What from what?
They just keep dumping dirt, and I'm really done with it. It's like, that's all they're doing? My home is destroyed. I'm like, well, they're dumping dirt. You don't get it.
Can I just say about that guy? I like that they seem to imply that he thought it was easier to be a human transformed to sneak onto like the truck, and
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you can do that as a raccoon. I feel like it'd be easier
Uh-huh.
to do that as a raccoon. You're like smaller.
Because when we see him get off the truck, he like comes out of like the axle or whatever
Yeah.
as a raccoon. And it's like, well, that
Because he fell asleep.
yeah,
Yeah, but he didn't need to be human in the first
he
place.
didn't need
to
to
do
be
that.
human. He didn't need to go to that effort.
He didn't know that. He hadn't been trained, clearly.
What?
Well, he has now.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. But it would have been so much more interesting if they just focused on, we're trying to fuck shit up for these, like, guys. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they want to bury down, like, bulldoze this temple. They have to do these royal, like, rituals and stuff. And they're like, nah, we're gonna fuck this up. Suddenly there's, like, 20 statues in the middle of a forest. Ah, fuck.
Were these always here? Oh fuck.
Probably. Oh.
You see, if it just committed to one thing that it wanted to do, I would have been liked that. Like like if it wanted to go full on like anti-Watership Down, Watership Rises. Like just go full on at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't do this like half thing that leaves me really confused on what the movie's trying to be.
And then instead, the guy's like, why don't we just kill them off? And it's like, hey. No.
At the very least,
No.
if you want to do like a war movie with these like raccoons and humans, at least go for it.
Yeah.
It would have at least been interesting.
Yeah.
I'm giving this movie a 5.
I'm at like a 6, I think.
I think I'm a 5.5. Because it's like, it doesn't deserve a 6. But if you're like tipsy, it's really good. Like, I think it's very much
it's a
more
6 if you're drunk.
a 7 if you're drunk.
Okay.
But if you're
okay.
drunk,
If you're drunk,
7.
drunk.
tipsy. And it's like,
I mean, if you're drunk, anything's at least a 7.
Yeah.
no, but especially this. Because the balls.
Oh, the balls, yeah.
Yeah. And the murder.
It's a drunk 8. But, like, it's a sober 5.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh,
What a movie. Thank you, Ghibli.
Yeah.
What's our next one?
Well, it doesn't really get any better. It's X, so...
I liked the vibes.
The vibes were good in this one. That's kind of it, though.
If you put a gun to my head and asked me what this movie was about or what happened, wouldn't be able to.
No, that's fair. This movie spends 45 minutes giving you the same bit of exposition, and it's not helpful whatsoever.
And not even enough.
No, and then it repeats itself at some point, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, move on.
It somehow spends all that time on exposition, but it still doesn't give enough exposition.
Yeah.
Like, where did the dragons come from? Why is this prophecy so important? Why does it end the world? What's happening? I don't know what's happening. Maybe it does not want to explain.
No.
It like opens, with I think the mother handing the Kami sword.
Yeah, we're like in media res in like a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes me think, they're gonna explain this. This is the beginning.
Nope.
Then they're just like, there you go. Like, what? He's like, oh, sorry, you just missed all the stuff. I'm like, no, you didn't show me. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, did you just get here, audience? Huh, too bad.
I am a dream watcher. You are watching my dreams. What?
Okay.
45 minutes later, to a different character, from a different character. I am a dream watcher. You're watching my dreams. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, there's 2.
There's
cool.
2 of you. She's my sister. I'm like,
She's my younger sister. She don't fucking look younger.
No.
I can't see or hear. I speak through the mind. Okay. You go back to bed. Sweetie.
You are the other Kami. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it wasn't predictable, but it was just
It wasn't predictable because I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, because half the story wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, at some point they put someone on a cross.
Oh
in
yeah,
the dream
in a
world.
dream.
Oh my god, is this an Evangelion reference?
And they kill her on the cross, but it's not real.
I like the Foma. Is that like
Fuma,
yeah. I like that his motivation at the start was stopping his sister being killed, and then at some point off screen he drinks the Kool-Aid of villainry. And then it's just like, I'm gonna kill my sister now because I want to do that, and it's like, why?
Why?
Because I have to. The script said so.
Yeah, they introduce like, he is the one from the prophecy. I'm like, okay, I guess. Then other dream lady shows up. He's the anti-prophecy kid, basically.
Yeah.
Like, he was also there, but he's like the evil version of it.
If he does this, then this guy has to do this. Why? Oh, the dream said so.
Because I fucking said so.
It was literally revealed to me in a dream.
Prophecy Kid hasn't made his decision, but we're just sort of assuming he's gonna make this decision. So you're this guy now. So you're basically the villain.
If he just stayed in that sort of liminal space between not making a choice, do you think this movie would have happened?
No.
I don't know. I've made the pro and con list, but it's still not.
Here's the thing, though. Kamui never really makes the decision either.
No, it just sort of happens.
Yeah.
They just sort of find him, and he's just like, okay.
And eventually, like, him and Fuma, like, re-meet, and he's like, you're the other one, and it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, you
and
knew
then,
about this.
and then they fight, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And then Kumei's just like, we don't have to do this, man. You can choose your own destiny. He's just like, no.
And then he cuts his head off.
Yeah.
And that's it. The whole battle that's been hyped up the whole movie, this world-ending calamitous battle.
Done.
Might as well have done like that anime thing where he just like pulls out the sword for like a split second.
No, legit.
Yeah.
And he just, half his body just slides off.
Yeah.
That would have been better, actually. You know what? That would have been...
Yeah, go full on in the cringe.
Commit.
Go full chosen.
They had like potential with the whole, I make my, let's just say, mirror dimension or whatever. Nothing can happen in this dimension.
Yeah.
That was interesting, and them all being killed off.
Oh,
But,
the shield thing
yeah.
that they put up, which
never seems to like actually do anything really at the end, because they
No.
always end up dying in the battle that just causes the damage anyway.
No, just once it worked when they were back at the house, I think.
yeah.
And then they explain, oh, if we die, the shield fails. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be important later.
No.
Just the tutorial section. I'm not counting that.
So, I watched the movie and then was so confused. I went and read the first volume of the manga.
Because you had to know.
Because I
This
had
is
to
perfect
know.
marketing for the manga.
So the manga starts off. It doesn't have that scene with Kamui and his mother.
Good.
It just opens with a shot of him on Tokyo Tower, like looking over Tokyo at night, which is like, goes hard. And he's like, I have returned. And it's like, okay, who are you? Yeah. And then we cut to the siblings, and they're going to school. It's a normal day happening during the day, because we haven't mentioned this, but like 90% of this movie happens inexplicably at night.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the winter in this movie.
Yeah.
And so they're going to school. They have a normal school day where we get a bit of characterization, which this movie does not have at all. Where we learn that Kotori, the sister, has a weak heart. Their mother died, who I am assuming in mysterious circumstances, because there is a line where they're like, oh, it's a shame her mother died that way, and that is emphasized.
Oh my God.
And her brother, like watches over her type thing. So you immediately get a sense of their relationship and stuff.
Can I just say, I like one of the only like screenshots you sent me of the manga was just like the panel where she says, "Oh, the sister has a weak heart, just like her mother," and it's like, Jesus, manga, calm down. I didn't need to call her out like that.
It's weird the ways that they would be like, oh, she has a heart condition back then.
Yeah, you can just say that.
Yeah.
It's so mean. Is it? Would you make fun of someone? Like not even.
No,
not
they
even
don't
as
really
a,
make fun of her.
The
though.
thing is, the way I read it in like the panel when you sent it was that she just like, oh, she has weak willpower.
Yeah. Like,
She-
she sucks at this.
Like she's just
particular
like she's
thing.
just like terrible. She's pathetic, and it's like, Jesus, man.
very clearly shown later that it's like a heart condition, because like,
Okay,
if
that makes more
things
sense.
start happening, she's like, oh my god, my heart's racing. What if something might happen? Type thing. So they're normal
This is
school
such a
day.
fan-fiction
There's
plot.
murmurings of like a transfer student coming in.
Oh, classic.
And then we cut to Kamui again, and he's fighting like these goons that turn out to be like shiki, which are like talisman things that manifest into humanoid things for fighting. And it's like, oh, okay, so
As you do.
the manga clearly has like some mob system, whereas he's not just fighting major characters, because that's all he does in the actual movie is just
Yeah.
major character after major character. And he's late for school, shows up, he sees Fuma, and he just blanks his existence, and Fuma's like, wasn't that okay, I guess not. And then he shows up and he's in Kotori's class, and Kotori's like, oh, it's Kamui, we haven't seen you in a long time. He just blanks her existence, so she follows him to the roof, and he's like, no, you must not be involved with me. Things aren't like they were 6
I
years
have a
ago.
dark and troubled past.
Pretty
these
much.
last 6 years.
Oh my.
Insert like Batman theme.
And then fast forward a bit later, and he like just starts fighting some guy that's like tailing him, gets hurt, and he's found by Fuma, and he's like patched up by him, and generally there's a bit more of like a apathetic characterization to Kamui that's like quite interesting, because you're like, oh, okay. In the movie, it's shown that he flips to being like really caring for Kotori like straight away. So like the scene where they like re-meet and have this conversation is inexplicably changed to happening at night at the
Temple.
siblings' temple, and then like every other major character
Just like
just shows up.
Yeah.
You also get a better explanation of like the shields too, because they're like, oh, when we put these up, if the person who put it up dies, it'll affect the real world, which is stated in the movie, but it's stated in the manga that you don't know when that'll take effect.
Ah,
It
okay.
could be minutes, it could be hours, it could be days, weeks, months. It could happen in a natural disaster, it could happen in a fire, it could manifest in any number of ways, which is a much more interesting...
Yeah, that makes for a lot more like fascinating
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, which makes the scenes in the movie where we see Tokyo devastated a bit more interesting
Yeah.
as a concept. But I only read volume 1, so like it ends kind of like when they show up and throw up the shield to fight, and like Kotori, Fuma, and Kamui don't know that they're there.
Yeah.
They're just like watching them from afar and getting a fight because it's like the two people from the opposing groups. I don't even know their names, to be fair, but that's the same with most of the characters in this movie. So the manga seems more interesting, but I get the feeling from the fact that that's the first volume, which was like 200 pages. They've maybe just tried to condense the entire thing, which is 18 volumes long, in a 90-minute movie, which obviously is going to skip over so much.
Yeah, because it felt like you were truly just being dropped in the middle, because they were like, we don't have time to explain all of this, so just bear with us.
Yeah.
And which I can, I can accept that if eventually through story or whatever you explain shit, but they don't. So you're just there like, okay. It's a watch.
Well, yeah, that's one way of describing it.
Like, most of my notes are just like question marks, like, I'm still confused. I was like, there's a twin star, what the fuck is going on? I don't care about anyone.
The twin star thing comes up once and is never mentioned again.
No.
It's I don't think I made any notes, and I can't remember what I said to Shaun throughout my time watching this. But I know that I elected not to watch Pom Poko that night because I was like, fuck it.
I need to know.
And I bought the first volume of the manga, which has 3 volumes in it because they released it in an omnibus format. So I've still only read the first one. I was going to read the other 2 last night, but I was like, you know what? No.
EP.
I think I said to you at one point that I think I really would have enjoyed this like story more if like the focus was on anyone but Kumi. Because like every other character feels like more interesting, but we don't really get enough time to really see that. Especially on like the Earth Dragon like side, because like the Earth Dragon has a full on like Ghost in the Shell like computer thing like girl at some point, but that they're only on screen for like a grand total of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's like one of the most interesting parts of the movie, but they don't focus on it because it doesn't have the time. So I'm really confused on why it's here at all.
I guess they're a character later in the manga, and they just
in the
put
movie
them
they
in
just
there.
exist to be killed by Fuma.
Pretty much. I mean, they exist to try and attack Kamui earlier in the movie.
They
They fail. Yeah.
I mean, they kill. I'd say they kill some of like the dragons of like heaven, but like most of the time it feels like the dragons of heaven just get themselves killed.
Yeah.
Like
I forgot
literally.
they were called the Dragons of Heaven.
Yeah, the dragons of heaven and the dragons of earth.
Yeah. It feels stupid saying it out loud, but that's what they're
It's
called.
So funny because the way it's set up initially is that it's like you hear Dragon of the Earth first, and you're like, oh, so there's like 4 groups.
Yeah.
Dragon of the Earth, Dragon of the Fire, Dragon of the Water.
Doing the 4 elements. Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, no, you hear the Dragon of the Heavens, and you're like, hold on, what the fuck kind of concept is this then?
Yeah.
So who's the good one?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. At first I was like, so we're at war with the heavens, because that goes hard. But then no, the dragons of the dragons of Earth are the bad guys.
Yes.
Yeah, like, why aren't they just the Dragons of Hell? That would make so much more sense.
To be honest, it doesn't sound as good, but at the same time, neither does Dragons of the Heavens, so...
No.
Dragons of the Earth sounds as shit.
It does, yeah.
I mean, they're or at least their dream lady, whose name I forget,
Don't worry about it.
just sort of goes like, we want to save the Earth by killing humanity, because it's sort of going in that very Pom Poko eco-terrorism sort of thing.
they say at one point they want to hand Earth back to nature.
But then it's revealed at the end that like, oh, she didn't fucking care about that.
No.
She just had her own bullshit reason to free her sister.
Which is really weird. Cause,
Very
like,
ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Because like the context is that like the Princess Dream Lady, which is what I called her. After going save the world, my final message, goodbye. It's explained that, like, she works for the government.
So, here's something that's not really established in the movie. The building she is in is the National Diet Building of Japan, aka the head of the government building.
It's the parliament.
Yes, it's their parliament. And
Yeah,
in the manga,
far off stare, Melina. Sorry.
in the manga, it's established that she's like not really like employed, because that means it sounds like an actual
consult
job.
her.
They like they pretty much like ask her to predict the future for like the advancement of politicians and government and stuff like that.
A 0-hour contract, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Never really properly explained in the movie whatsoever.
No.
The movie also really dances around the fact that that is the Tokyo Diet Building.
Yeah, it doesn't ever really say that. It just seems like an important government facility.
They do mention the Tokyo Metropolitan Government building, which is a different building in a different part of Tokyo.
Which is where the Dragons of the Earth are.
Yes. And that's left standing in someone's dream.
This feels like it's trying to say something, but I really don't know what.
Yeah.
But it's so weird, because like I was watching the movie and I'm like, I recognize this building. I was like, surely it's not.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, but like near the point I was trying to make is that by the end of the movie, like the younger sister, I almost said older sister because she looks like she's the older sister. The younger sister reveals that like she purely did this to free her older sister from being like jailed by the government.
I don't know. I don't even think she's like there against her will or anything.
No, she seems pretty content to be Oracle Lady.
Yeah. I mean, what's a deaf, blind, mute girl gonna do if not that?
Chill. Get a holiday home? Wait, no, there's no sights to take in. She's blind.
A holiday home isn't. It's not just about the sights.
I don't know.
It's being out of the city, away from the hustle and bustle.
She's deafblind.
Still,
She
the
can't
vibes.
hear it.
She can walk on the beach.
She's deafblind.
It's about the feeling.
Get the sand between the grippers.
Exactly.
That doesn't sound nice.
Some people like it.
Yeah.
Do you think she'd like it?
She's probably never felt it before,
Yeah.
so she probably have no idea what the fuck it is.
No.
This is going in a weird direction.
This is a weird movie.
Yeah, it is.
It makes no sense. I think this could have worked as a series, maybe?
Well, there is a series,
I figured.
which is directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri.
Oh.
Huh.
Would you look at
I
that?
would have infinitely have preferred to have watched that than this, even though Rentaro directed Galaxy Express.
Oh.
So, weird crossover of stuff that we've seen before.
Yeah. It doesn't feel similar in any way.
No, it doesn't really feel like anything that I've seen by him before, because he also directed a film called Harmageddon, which again was also under Madhouse, and I was reading the Wikipedia article writing up my little thing, and it's like he said it's said in that he said in an interview on the Wikipedia page that he feels like he was offered the role because of Harmageddon. Harmageddon was like the 80s, not 1996, like a decade and a half later or something like that. And it then goes on to say, which has different themes from X. And I'm like, no, Harmageddon's also about espers. So it's sort of similar themes, it's just on like a grander scale where it's like there's stuff from outer space. So I was like, if he got offered the role because of that, he got offered it because it's got the same fucking themes.
Yeah.
Just not as well executed.
No.
I mean, Harmageddon's not great. Soundtrack slaps, but film's fine. But yeah, it doesn't feel like anything he's directed before. I don't know. I kind of want to watch the TV series now, but I think I'll finish reading the manga first.
Yeah, see how that goes.
Yeah. But yeah,
Are we going straight to scores?
I guess we'll go for scores. It's going to be a short episode, but I don't really want to talk about either of these movies much more than we already have.
Like, we talked about all they had to offer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was not a lot.
No.
Like, outside of most of like the runtime of these movies are just sort of more made up of the fact that the story is just sort of incomprehensible for good chunks of it.
Yeah.
So when you actually explain them, it just comes out very short.
Yeah.
Wish there was a way we could vet these beforehand.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is like when we pick stuff that I haven't seen, it's sort of like a bit of a crapshoot as to what, you know, we're gonna get. Turns out really well in the next episode.
Oh yeah.
But
For this one, not as much.
not as much. Which we've been on a bit of a losing streak.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like
you know, recently.
I do like that we all are able to go in blindly.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Because,
That's nice.
opinions can change on a second
Mm.
watch. Not for these two, I
No.
think.
It
just
but,
feels like we make some sort of downer episodes sometimes when we just watch two things that are kind of shit.
Yeah.
Happy episode 69.
Yes.
Yeah. Celebrate.
Yay.
I give this a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm sitting around a 4 as well.
Yeah, it's sad because if the vibe, if I was going purely off of vibes, I could like give this like a 6, but overall, I think I'd give it like a 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh my god, this is so sad. The fact that we all agree on like
Yeah.
a 4.
Yeah, that's not great.
but when something's bad, like
It's bad.
it's bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for listening to this bizarrish episode of Anime Lane. I think this is the first time that like it's all felt like bad. Like we've had some mid stuff recently
Yeah.
where we've kind of went, oh, we maybe could have picked some better stuff for this session, but I think this is the first episode we've done in a while where like we all outright kind of dislike.
Yeah,
I don't think we've all
got
felt
no energy
yeah.
to really talk about these movies. There's no joy.
At least Dragon
my
Dentist
God.
had us like angry, you
Yeah.
know, and raging against it. Whereas this is just sort of like,
I'm tired, boss.
I'm just thinking
tired
about
of
the fact
this,
I want to talk about
Grandpa.
Vampire Hunter D and sing a bit
Yeah.
of Harmony,
And we will.
and we will
Next time.
Well, no,
Not
not
next
next time.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
bye.
Bye.